It was supposed to be an ordinary departure. A quiet airport appearance by Kim Taehyung, V of BTS, on his way to the United States for what fans initially assumed was another luxury brand engagement. But what happened at Incheon Airport just hours before his flight shocked not only reporters, but ignited a wildfire across social media, news outlets, and ARMY forums worldwide.
Why?
Because what Taehyung wore wasn't just another designer piece. It was a memory. A memory tied directly to Jungkook. Is it just a strange coincidence? Or is Taehyung sending a message? The moment Taehyung stepped into the public eye at the departure terminal, eagle-eyed fans didn't just notice his sleek, brooding look. They froze. Within minutes, armies were sharing side-by-side comparison photos, exposing an uncanny resemblance between Taehyung's outfit that day and one Jungkook wore almost 3 years ago during a key turning point in BTS's group history. A faded black bomber jacket, slightly oversized, paired with a white ribbed tee and the same unmistakable combat-style boots. Every element matched with painful precision. Even the way Taehyung's hair fell into his eyes that day, even the silver chain, even the rings, fans didn't miss a detail. And neither did Jungkook's fans. Was it an accident? Or was it the first public breadcrumb in an unraveling personal narrative between the two most enigmatic members of BTS? This wasn't just any outfit. It was the outfit Jungkook wore during their 2022, yet-to-come promotional interviews, a period layered with hidden tensions, unexplained silences, and questions the group never directly answered. Why this outfit?
Why now?
And why, of all times, did Taehyung choose to resurrect it as he heads to America, alone? Is this his way of telling the world something Jungkook refused to say? What followed was nothing short of a fandom meltdown. Within 2 hours of Taehyung's airport photos surfacing, Jungkook's outfit trended #1 on Twitter worldwide. Reddit forums compiled timelines, fan TikToks reached millions of views analyzing each angle of the clothing, and even fashion magazines like Vogue Korea and Dazed entered the fray. Suddenly, Taehyung's fashion choice was no longer about style. It was a flashpoint for unresolved tension, hidden messages, and a whirlwind of theories involving silence, longing, and subtle rebellion. But let's rewind. Because this story isn't just about a jacket. It's about everything that's been building between Jungkook and Taehyung in the shadows. Back in 2023, following the final chapter of BTS's group activities before their military enlistments, speculation had reached a fever pitch about rifts within the group, specifically between Taehyung and Jungkook. They hadn't appeared together on V Live in months. Their Instagram interactions dried up. Taehyung had unfollowed Jungkook temporarily, an act that, though quickly reversed, did not go unnoticed. Jungkook, in turn, began focusing on solo projects with HYB's new division, taking increasingly bold steps away from BTS's collective narrative. And then came the silence. When Taehyung enlisted, Jungkook was notably absent from the farewell photo lineup. That alone sparked its own theories. But now, after his recent discharge, Taehyung is flying to America wearing the exact look Jungkook once wore, clothing tied to a pivotal, almost nostalgic chapter of BTS. Is he trying to resurrect something from the ashes of their once tightly bonded friendship? Or is it a final goodbye in disguise? The shocking layers of this story don't end there. Reporters at Incheon noted that Taehyung didn't respond to any fan calls. He kept his head low, sunglasses on, refusing to even offer his usual wave. But what fans did catch was a cryptic smirk captured in one fleeting photo, a smirk some interpreted as a sign of quiet satisfaction, as though he knew exactly what storm he was about to unleash, and unleash it he did. But here's where things become even more curious. Just a day before Taehyung's airport appearance, Jungkook posted a black and white photo on Instagram with no caption. It was a mirror selfie in his apartment, but what caught the attention of hardcore armies was what lay in the background. Folded clothes on the bed, including what appeared to be a faded black bomber jacket. The same one he once wore. Could this post have been a preemptive signal? Did Jungkook know what Taehyung was planning to do? Or, more disturbingly, did Taehyung take that photo as a cue? There are no confirmations, no statements, just silence, which only fuels the fire. What we do know is this: the outfit in question was not a recent purchase. Fashion insiders confirmed the jacket was part of an archived collection no longer in circulation. The boots were a discontinued model. This wasn't a case of shopping at the same brand. It was intentional. It was surgical. It was personal. And now Taehyung is in America without Jimin, without Jungkook, without any label staff publicly accompanying him. No official brand tags. No stylists or schedules announced. The last time Taehyung flew solo in this way, it was for an undisclosed Celine project that later turned out to be a surprise collaboration with Park Bo-gum. But this time, Bo-gum isn't around. And his arrival, unlike his usual grand entrances, was shrouded in mystery. Why has no one in BTS acknowledged this trip? Why is Big Hit remaining silent? And why is Jungkook still posting mood photos with no explanation, just as Taehyung's journey begins? Fans have even begun compiling a list of previous moments where the two artists may have communicated in private through matching song lyrics, mutual playlists, or eerily timed status updates. It's a coded dance only the most loyal armies can follow, and it's driving speculation through the roof. Was this moment at the airport the emotional apex of something that's been simmering beneath the surface for months, maybe even years? Are we watching Taehyung rebel not only against silence, but against the very narrative the company has been trying to preserve? And as Jungkook continues to keep his distance publicly, is he truly unaware of Taehyung's message, or is he quietly preparing his own? It's no longer just about the fashion. It's about what lies underneath the fabric: memories, regrets, unsaid apologies, and maybe, just maybe, a quiet cry for reconnection. Stay tuned. This story is far from over. It's been nearly a decade since Taehyung and Jungkook first captured the hearts of fans worldwide as the youngest members of BTS. But this latest airport moment has reopened emotional wounds many armies thought had healed. And it's not just because of the clothes. It's because of everything they symbolize. Taehyung understand why this fashion match is causing such uproar. We need to revisit the moment Jungkook first wore the outfit that Taehyung has now resurrected. It was late 2022. The group had just finished their final group promotions for Yet to Come, and tensions, though hidden under smiles and stage lights, were undeniably there. Jungkook had arrived to a photo shoot in Seoul wearing a rugged black bomber, vintage white tee, distressed jeans, and his now iconic matte combat boots. He looked tired. His eyes didn't sparkle the way they usually did. Fans at the time commented on how quiet he had become, how his body language had changed, how Taehyung, seated next to him, didn't say a word for nearly 20 minutes. It was one of the last times the two were seen interacting directly on camera. And now, 2 years later, Taehyung shows up at Incheon Airport in that same look, down to the hairstyle, the subtle chain necklace, and even the posture. It wasn't just an outfit, it was a scene. A moment in time being played again. Almost like a ghost of their relationship walking through the terminal. The question lingers. Is Taehyung trying to say something Jungkook won't? Or is he challenging him to remember? Armies who have followed their journey closely over the years know that Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship has always been filled with duality. Intense affection followed by inexplicable silence. Their earliest days in BTS were filled with playful banter, inside jokes, and shared dorm antics that fans adored. They even called themselves Taehyung proudly, teasing each other endlessly while clearly relying on one another for emotional support during BTS's meteoric rise. But over the years, that dynamic began to change. By 2021, things were already shifting. Observers noticed that Taehyung had begun spending more time with other friends outside of the group, most notably actor Park Bo-gum, while Jungkook was isolating himself in music studios, working obsessively on solo material. The once inseparable duo began appearing more distant. And while neither ever addressed it directly, moments like Jungkook's somber birthday live in 2022, where Taehyung didn't even call in, raised red flags across the fandom. Fans speculated everything from artistic differences to personal heartbreaks to rumors of behind-the-scenes disagreements that could never be publicly confirmed. But nothing was as loud as their silence. And now, after months of zero interaction, after their respective military enlistments, after public appearances that deliberately avoided overlap, Taehyung walks through the airport wearing Jungkook's emotional history like a second skin.